Thanks for joining the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. This is our third and final segment. We talked about rates plummeting as we talked about that. We got inventory climbing. Buyers can get what they want now. You need some closing costs. We talked about ways to handle the new commission laws in MLS and realtors. I've got some listings real quick here. Buyers, if you're looking, I've got, and this with inventory is a little heavy, Bruce. These listings are all the best price in their markets. Best price on a townhome with a garage in Lake Nona, $369,000. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,400 square feet. I got the best price on a house in Sand Lake Hills with a double master. Best price per square foot, too. 2,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths with double masters and a pool on a half-acre lot in Dr. Phillips with awesome schools. This house has a beautiful master bedroom addition with vaulted ceilings and a separate tub and shower in the back, jacuzzi tub. And I've got a golf community, kind of a custom home on a zero lot line, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2,300 square feet for $700,000. And then in Providence, great golf community. And this house is lakeside, $495,000 for 3,000 square feet. And this is a gorgeous custom built townhome. You don't want to take care of the yard anymore, but you want a great view. You want beautiful amenities. This house has wood floors, rounded corners, columns. I mean, just decorative ceiling treatments. Very nice house for $495,000. Then we go to Solavita for a retirement community for $325,000 for 1,700 square feet. Again, one of the best prices for a house on a conservation area with a tile roof and a great 55 and better community. And finally, for $460,000, I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-car garage with no HOA, lakefront house, and that's in Dundee on Lake Crystal. Skiing allowed. The house looks all the way down the length of the lake, kind of a kidney-shaped lake, and you got a northern view all the way up the lake. Looks like you're looking across the ocean. So call me if you want to take a look at any of those at 407-352-8118. And realtors, remember, any of my listings, I always co-broke on those. Call me if you have any questions.
Yep. Cleve promises that his listings will always have a generous co-broke for a buyer's agent. Any agent out there that is considering themselves a listing agent and does not do that, you are just going to hurt your sellers, and you're hurting buyers too. So get your act together when it comes to that. For those of you that are self-employed, I'm still getting a lot of calls on self-employed people. They love my bank statement program and my DSCR. If you're self-employed, I know that you're writing off everything on your tax returns. You make good money. You just don't show the IRS you make good money. I get it. So I had a client. They made about $300,000 a year, but they only were reporting about $35,000 a year in income.
Bank statement loan.
So they wrote it all off. But the bank statement loan is about 1% higher than a traditional mortgage that you would qualify for. So they're like, oh yeah, but my rate on that is 7 3/4 rather than 6 3/4. So I did the math on how much extra interest they would pay, and it was about $2,000 a year in additional interest on the bank statement program. They were like, yeah, but that's a higher rate. I said, well, let's do your taxes. You made 300, but you only reported 35. So you shaved the government on 270. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And if you paid taxes on $270,000 that you just avoided at a 20% tax bracket, then you would have paid $54,000 extra dollars. So you're ahead of the game by $52,000 by getting the bank statement program. It makes sense. It makes sense. Now you got to put a little bit more money down. It's 25%. I do have a 15% down bank statement program. I've got a great DSCR for you investors that want to buy investment properties and you have the same problem. So a bank, when you bring them your tax returns, going to shut you down. You don't even need to bring your tax returns to me. Call me 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. Hey, guess what? Hometown Heroes
still got money.
28 million left. So
that's pretty good. We thought that'd be burned up by now.
Well, we did. We thought at least by the end of August. So it's starting to pick up more pace now because interest rates.
Yeah, because rates are coming down. But so that's a great way, and like that has like higher income limits, no restriction on who, right?
Right. You don't have to
first time buyer.
Right. First time home buyer.
So that means you could have not owned a house in the last 3 years.
Not owned a primary residence
okay, there you go.
Last 3 years.
Okay, that's a good distinction.
You can make up to $132,000 a year and you got to have a 640 credit score. But I I just got a buyer into a home for about $2,000 on a $385,000 house.
With hometown, he only paid $2,000.
It's all he could.
Incredible.
He paid for the appraisal out of pocket, and he put his earnest money down, and that was it. That was all they had to come up with. I got the rest of it. We got closing costs from the seller. We got hometown heroes. We reduced the principal amount to save them more money. I mean, it just was absolutely beautiful. And this couple would not have been able to buy if it wasn't for that. So this program, once it's gone, will be probably close to a year, if not over a year, before it's refunded again.
Yep.
So you better get your hands on it right now.
I just think next summer, cross your fingers and toes, good election. Next summer, we're talking about how we told you so. Not that we're enjoying that, but like get in now. And then real quick, Bruce, Leapfrog. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So Leapfrog is a program that I developed because I did not have the money to buy investment properties as I was building my career. Okay. I was struggling just like everybody else, but I knew that if I didn't own real estate, it would be difficult for me to retire because I don't have a pension. If you have a pension, that you're good for you. Most of us don't. And Social Security wasn't going to begin to cover my expenses. There's no way it could happen. So I wanted some type of residual income. So I knew that buying investment properties was the way to go. But how do I do that? I don't have 20% to put down on each property that I buy. So I bought a property. I lived in it. I got low down payment. I had to pay PMI, but I lived in it. Then I saved up enough money for my down payment on my next one. I bought it. I rented the first one. And then I kept repeating that. Now, I came up with a system on how I could have all of my homes paid off free and clear in 20 years. If you want to join our program, I'll show you how I got them all paid off in 20 years. We can explain it. I've got, and even if we talk about building generational wealth, but even if you're in your 50s and 60s and 70s, possibly, I've had some people sell their big $900,000 home and they bought themselves a primary and we bought 2 other rentals. Absolutely.
And that's probably going to fade away as prices climb. They'll only be able to buy, one house, maybe 1 rental. But we can help you plan that out. What is your real estate plan?
Well, I look at people and they think that they're going to be okay for retirement. And you got a 48, 50-year-old couple. And I'm like, how much money do you have in the bank right now for your retirement? I got $500,000. That's pretty impressive. $500,000. That'll make you $25,000 a year. $25,000 a year. Is that going to cover your expenses? Add in your Social Security and assume no inflation. If no inflation, now everybody's gotten a taste of what inflation is. People talked about inflation before, but everybody they just like, oh, inflation. I don't know inflation. Now you're starting to feel it because everywhere you go, you're feeling inflation.
If you start buying properties, and remember investment properties, you're always trying to raise the rents, and rents were skyrocketing for a bit. Now they're about stable. They're raising them slightly, 1%, 2%, 3%. Depends what their appreciation has slowed, but it's still 3 or 4% in Central Florida. And I have people come to you,
but insurance costs have gone up, so landlords are going to have to raise
you got to raise the rent, and then the value is going up. But you got to keep raising those things. You got to treat it like an investment. So that's why I have people bringing me properties where they're only rented for $1,200 a month, and they got their cousin Barry in there, and Barry's basically a freeloader for the last 5 years, and I don't even want to do the math on what they've lost when it should be renting for $2,500. So if you got any issues on that or don't want to deal with that, you want semi-passive income from investment real estate, call me 407-352-8118. Or are you going into assisted living? Should you sell the home or not sell the home? Should you rent it? You need that money to live off of. I will help you with all that. Just give me a call at 407-352-8118, cleveloveland.com.
Yep. And I just want to do some recaps here. So first of all, August 18th, I am the sponsor of the K92.3 Country All-Star Jam. I may have a few tickets available if you want to call or text. I'm going to give out my number in a second. We determined that there's about a 50% chance that the Fed could do a rate cut on the next cut in September. That is possible. I don't know if that's going to really do much for interest rates, but interest rates have already dropped 0.75 of a percentage point in the last 3 weeks. So now is an amazing time to buy. Sellers are still working deals. Sellers are still paying closing costs. Builders are still offering buy downs. When rates drop, they won't be doing that anymore, and sellers will be at a disadvantage because there's going to be too many of them rushing the market. So if you need closing costs, you better buy before they get too much lower, because you won't get it at that point. So let me help you. Hometown Heroes still has a little bit of money left. So call me if you want down payment assistance. Self-employed people, we've talked about them. We got all the programs for you. If you're self-employed, stop going to your bank, come to the loan arranger. He'll take care of you. We covered all of Cleve's listings, amazing listings. You got to go to his website at lovelandreport.com. You can see all his listings. If you're a buyer's agent, Cleve has committed to you that he will always pay a handsome buyer's commission. So that was a big thing that we talked about today. And we talked about Hometown Heroes has a little bit of money left. So we've covered the builders. Listen, we've covered debt consolidation in this. If you need to consolidate, now's a good time to refi. If you're trying to do a lower rate, I want you to call me. I'll put you on my list, and we'll call you when we think it's right. I'm the only lender that'll tell you not to refi right now.
All right. And then, Bruce, I just heard I get some questions all the time. All the billboards and advertising you hear, and the hedge funds advertising on radio and TV and billboards, they're asking you, call us. It's so easy. We'll give you a great price for your home. No, it's probably 60, 70% of what you're worth. They talk about, don't get the hassle of being on the market. Well, is that hassle worth 20, 30% of your equity?
No,
having
it's not
your house
worth it. It's not even worth $10,000 for me.
Yeah,
I'll put my house on the market to make an extra 10 grand.
So it's very important. I've also heard a couple other versions of this. Sell your home to us and we'll let you rent it back. Why would you do that?
Right.
I mean, like, we'll give you, and it talks about some options or something like that.
Yeah, but people fall into these. These commercials are very convincing for people, and
it's marketing.
They're brainwashed and they believe what they hear. And I'm telling you, most of that stuff is not in your best interest.
I got an article here on OfferPad. Lost, let's see, they only lost $13.8 million in the second quarter.
Oh.
So when they rip people off on their house and they fix them up
and the stockholders are losing money.
Yeah, and so they rip people off on their house. They go to put it back on the market and can't sell it for enough. They still lost $13.8 million.
Well, and they got fined by the Federal Trade Commission for
I don't know which one that was. Yeah, I don't know which one that was, but still, it's not worth it.
I can tell you who it was.
The person who buys your home, if you want the best market value, you want to expose it to the most buyers. And then test the market. If you think your house is worth $525, go on the market for $535 and try it. Don't go on the market for $599 or $650.
Yeah,
that's 2021. We're gone. That's gone. Our 3% rates are gone.
Yeah.
So, but if you need a good opinion on that, just call us. We'll help you out.
Yep. Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118 or lovelandreport.com. Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger, 35 years in the mortgage business, helping families, not only in Florida, but throughout the country. We're licensed in all 50 states. You can reach me now at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. Looking for a reverse mortgage? I got it. Construction perm? I got it. Renovation loan? I got it. You want a bridge loan? I got the best bridge loan in the market. Physician loans, no down payment, no PMI for physicians. I've got credit repair, self-employed, no doc loans, hard money loans for investors, down payment assistance, you name it. I got it.
Well, I think the most important thing going in this market right now, Bruce, is rates drop, and we're going to see hopefully the economy speed up again. Get fast tracked. Get their application into you. Get every single document. I had one of my buyers call me the other day. Bruce wants DNA samples. I'm like, give it to him.
Yep.
Get that fast track process done. You are a cash buyer. We can close in 10, 15 days.
I will promise you that the biggest complaint I get from people is I ask for a lot of docs up front, but you know what I don't have to do? Scramble at the last minute.
Yes.
And
because everybody needs those same docs.
64% of people that buy homes and get a mortgage are dissatisfied and do not close on time or at all. That is not going to happen on my watch.
That does not happen with you.
It's not going to happen on my watch. So listen, an ounce of preparation is worth a pound of.
I don't know that one.
I don't know. I know that there's something my mom used to say.
Don't know that one.
407-250-9144 for the guy that can't remember common sayings, but can help you out with your mortgage. And Cleve Loveland, best real estate agent in town, 407-352-8118. You can listen to us on our podcast. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio. We'll be back next week, or follow me tomorrow. I'll be available at 11 o'clock, same place. See you then.